Hello and welcome to the Tough Girl Podcast, a 3-time award-winning show that aims to motivate and inspire you while increasing the amount of female role models in the media, especially in relation to adventure and physical challenges. I'm your host, Sarah Williams. If you're passionate about adventure, challenge and learning from women who have overcome obstacles and achieved remarkable things, then this is the podcast for you. Every Tuesday at 7 a.m, new episodes go live featuring incredible women who share their stories, insights and tips to help you achieve your dreams and goals. You can support the Tough Girl mission by signing up as a patron. Visit Patreon, patreon.com/Tough Girl Podcast. Keep listening until the very end as I share more information about what's going on with me with Tough Girl Challenges, give shout outs and recommend other Tough Girl Podcast episodes. More information can be found at toughgirlchallenges.com.
My name is Lani Woods. I'm currently based in Hawaii. A little bit about what I do. I consider myself a full-time adventurer. So I do a lot of different activities. Cycling is the most prominent right now, but I love to travel and explore and, dib and dab in many things. I'm a very curious soul. So that kind of goes along with the adventurism.
Oh, I love that. And growing up in Hawaii, you must have just been swimming, surfing, cycling, running. Were you outdoorsy?
Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Let's go back just a little bit. I didn't grow up in Hawaii. I just moved here this year. I've lived in California my whole life, which is not that much different.
I was going to say, that's not exactly worse.
So I've lived in Southern California, so I can't say that I have experienced super bad weather. I did grow up in the Sunshine State, and then I wasn't that, I guess, athletic growing up. Outdoorsy a little bit. We were kind of kicked out. We had to stay outside and play. Back then, that's what kids did. So I was always curious in getting into things and wanting to try the different, sports that the boys were playing. I had a bunch of cousins who played like football, and I was a cheerleader, but I didn't want to be a cheerleader. I wanted to play football. So I didn't really grow up riding bikes. I didn't even have a bike growing up. I used to ride my cousins occasionally. So that wasn't a big part of my childhood. And I didn't really get into athletics until I was honestly in my 30s. I've always had like a gym membership or something, but I never competed in any sport until I was in my 30s.
Did anything happen in your 30s? Was there a switch that went off, or like something changed, or, just to make you think, actually, no, I need to change, like either to get fitter or to get into cycling or running or something?
Yes, there was a drastic change. So I had kids at a young age, and I was in a long-term relationship in my 20s, and that relationship turned abusive. And once I decided to leave that relationship, well, ultimately a big part of it was it made me feel weak. And so I wanted to feel stronger. And so I started going to the gym and working out. And part of it was like to release the stress of the relationship in general, just even not just the relationship, just stress of life. So I remembered when I was younger, I used to run. Like I would get like super overwhelmed and stressed out, and I would run and it would make me feel better. I didn't think anything of that at the time, but I started going to the gym and it would help like my mental health. And, subsequently it was making me stronger. And I was curious. I was just curious. I stayed curious. I went to a fitness expo and decided to try like an obstacle course thing, and that introduced me to obstacle course racing. And from there, I really loved that at that time. But from there, I injured myself. Obstacle course racing, I had torn my ACL, PCL, my calf, and had a small fracture. So while rehabbing from that, after having like 3 surgeries, my orthopedic introduced me to cycling. Well, suggested that I start riding a bike to kind of strengthen my quads. And so I got a bike for $100 from a yard sale, and I started riding around the neighborhood. And from there, it was like, oh, riding 5 miles. Then it's like, oh, let me see if I can ride 10 miles. And one day I decided to bite off a huge chunk, which I thought was a huge chunk at that time, which was like riding 20 miles to the beach and back. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be so dope. So I did that. And it just ignited something in me like, oh my God, this is incredible. That was so hard, but so rewarding. And from then, I don't know how much you know about me, but from then I was like, okay, now I want to ride 100 miles. And I ended up seeing someone who did this race called the RAM, the Race Across America, which is like a relay race from San Diego, California to Jesus, I forgot the state, but it's all the way across the country, over 3,000 miles. And I thought to myself, oh, I want to do something like that. So there's a lot there. I probably just
Yeah, this is amazing. This is what the podcast is about, like hearing your story, hearing your journey, because there are always moments, and I just think it's so powerful when you can identify them. You were feeling weak and you wanted to get stronger. So going to the gym, and working out and, releasing that stress. And, especially with the running, you ran when you were younger, but didn't realize the benefit it was having for your mental health. And then actually working on your self-confidence. And you said like, oh, 20 miles is a long way. 20 miles is such a long way. And then increasing it to, 100 miles. And then, 3,000 miles. It's like the distances, in my words, are increasing as like your self-confidence and your self-belief increases, because you're putting yourself out there, you're going through these difficult, challenging situations from that relationship, but also that's dealing with those injuries. And then buying that bike, putting yourself in that position to cycle to the beach and stuff.
yes.
With the cycling though, was there a moment where it maybe sort of like really all clicked and came together, or you started to realize, I suppose, that self-confidence piece again, when you started to realize, I can do this. I'm good at this. I'm going to do that.
There were a lot of those moments. I think for me, it was very important because being injured, it really can take a toll on your mental health and your self-confidence. Like at one point, I feel like my identity was so intertwined with my abilities as, an athlete, being, strong, being in obstacle course racing, and then being injured, really making me have to like sit down, like not being able to walk, having to be on crutches. You can feel really like powerless. And so cycling gave me a whole new level of confidence. I was able to challenge myself in a whole new way. So I'm attracted to challenge, no matter what it is, physical, mental. I like to overcome challenge. I welcome it. I look for it. So with cycling, I realized I could go further on a bike than I can on my feet. And it wasn't as bad for my joints as like running. So, and there was a lot of, I guess, so with cycling, a lot of people don't know about it. And so there is a lot of growth there with learning the different disciplines and stuff. Like I thought riding a bike was just riding the bike around your neighborhood as a kid. I never thought anything of it. I didn't know it was a whole sport. I didn't know there was multiple types of disciplines. I didn't know about the Tour de France or racing or anything. But entering that world, I learned about it. And all I've wanted to do ever since is share it with the rest of the world. Like,
Can I just ask you,
yes.
how did you increase your knowledge? Especially when you're starting out. Did you find like a cycle club? Was it online research? Was it reading blogs, listening to podcasts? Was it you like trying to figure this stuff out for yourself? Did you get a cycling coach? How did you build up your knowledge of cycling?
It was a little bit of all those things. But primarily when I first got into it, it was like online. I started following people and joining groups on Facebook and following different cycling clubs on like Instagram and then talking to people. So also during this time while I was healing from injuries, I had 2 podcasts. One was called Unrelenting Humans, where I interviewed injured and adaptive athletes. And one was called Black with Endurance, where I interviewed Black athletes in endurance sports to try to highlight people that were already in endurance sports. So I would talk to different athletes, and some of them were cyclists. And so they would tell me different things and about their journeys. And I was just very curious. From there, once I started riding a bike, I did join some cycling clubs. The main one that I found in Los Angeles was Major Taylor Los Angeles, and started riding with them and ended up completing this ride from San Francisco to Los Angeles, which is 500 miles with that group. And the thing about going out on these rides is people are more than happy to give you information and to teach you and to show you what you can do to improve. So it's like researching online is always great. You can find videos on YouTube for everything, and now you got ChatGPT. But there's nothing like the knowledge of experience from others. So if anyone is interested in cycling or you're just getting started, I would say find your local cycling clubs and, ride with other people, and don't be afraid to be a beginner. Don't be afraid to look foolish. We all started off on the wrong bike in the wrong clothes with our flat pedals. So
Are your podcasts still available for people to listen to? Are they still online?
they are still online. They are not active. I'm no longer recording episodes or anything like that, but all the episodes are still out there. And there are some really great interviews, very inspiring, which was my goal with those podcasts during my time of being injured. Podcasts are really what helped me through, and listening to like Rich Roll, Spartan Up podcast, those were 2 that really like helped me with my mental fortitude. So I wanted to share stories of people overcoming things for other people, because sometimes those stories are the things that can motivate us when, we really, really need it.
1,000%. I honestly, I think stories are so powerful, and especially like women sharing their stories, sharing the battles and the challenges that they've come through and what they've learned, and how they're resilient and how they've trained and how they progress in their journey. I find it absolutely fascinating, because one of the reasons I started with the Tough Girl podcast was, for me, it got to the point where I was like, I couldn't listen to any more men talk about adventure and physical challenges. I was just like, I needed to hear from women, like women that that I could relate to, and the listeners could relate to as well.
I love that. I really do, because you know what? That really is a thing. Like all these podcasts, they were mostly men. And I did find a podcast through Feisty Media that was about mental endurance, and it was hosted by a woman, and that was an awesome podcast. It wasn't interviews though. It was just kind of advice. But so when you reached out and I saw your podcast, I was like, I don't know if I can say this, but I'm going to say, I was like, fuck yeah.
Of course you could say that.
Yeah, I was like, this is perfect, because right now in my journey, I'm at this place where I don't want to male bash, but I'm just a little bit, I'm tired of men and everything being surrounded by men and having to go through men. Like, I want to do more business with women-owned companies or companies that have women in leadership roles. Like, that's just where I'm at. Like,
Oh, I agree. I agree 1,000%. Like, yeah. And you've actually, there's 2 sort of organizations that you're involved in. Which one came first for you? Was it Triple Crown Adventures or Adventure Femmes?
um, e.
Or were they both at the same time?
They're kind of intertwined. Everything I've been doing is kind of intertwined. So, for me, well, the name Triple Crown comes from, there is this thing called the California Triple Crown, which is the award for completing 3 double centuries in a consecutive year, and which is riding 200 miles. Very hard. So I completed that in 2023. And I always wanted to like make a special jersey or something for myself to blah, 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 commemorate that. And then in 2024, I went to Europe and was just doing what I do, adventuring. And it's like everyone's like, "Oh, like where's the invite?" And people always want to come with me, and I don't have a way to bring them with me places. And then I was like, "What if I create like some type of travel company or something? And what am I going to call it?" And I'm like, "Triple Crown Adventures." Like simple. And at first, I just got like an Instagram name and I just sat on it for like a year. Like I didn't do anything with it. And then I was invited to do or to lead a team for SBT Gravel this year. And I had to come up with a team name as Lani the Adventurer. I wanted to keep it around adventure. And they were introducing a new race format for, well, they called it gravel films. So this is where I was kind of lazy. And I was like trying to think of a name off the rip. And I'm like, well, it'll just be the Adventure Films. And that's where Adventure Films came from. So being the team captain of Adventure Films, went out to Steamboat, Colorado, and we are getting ready for this race. But also, I just love exploring wherever I'm at. Again, people are like, "Oh, where were you? What were you doing?" People, every time I come back from an event, people want to know, where I was and what was I doing, and they love me sharing my stories. So I decided once I moved to Hawaii that I was going to bring people to Hawaii. And so I made Triple Crown Adventures in LLC, and we had our first event just a few weeks ago.
Amazing. How did it go?
It went amazing. I didn't have high expectations. I knew it would go well. It's freaking Hawaii. But so we had about 30 people come out, and there was a ride called the Honolulu Century Ride. So around this ride, we kind of planned other adventures around it. So as much as I'm a cyclist, I still like doing other things. I still love hiking. I still like trying to run. I like water sports. I love like just exploring in general. So I wanted people to try different things, and I wanted people to get out of their comfort zones, but I also wanted people to enjoy the experience. So we did a ride from the bike shop Belohana out here and did this thing called the Tantalus Loop, which is a climbing ride, but it's beautiful the whole way. So even if you're suffering while you're climbing, you're enjoying it because the views are amazing. And then we also did the Lani Kai Pillbox hike, which is a 2-mile hike out and back. And 1,000 feet of elevation. It's really steep, but it's beautiful. So some of the people that came out, they had never hiked before, and they, decided to try this hike, which isn't an easy hike. Even though it's short, it's not easy. And they thanked me because, the views were just so incredible. And also, even with the climbing ride, some people don't like climbing or descending, which is going downhill. And they still did it, and they loved it. Everybody loved it. And the Century Ride, some people were completing their longest ride ever. So a lot of people got out of their comfort zones. And we also threw in horseback riding on the beach in it, and we did a luau. But it was incredible. And it was a really good group as well. Like it just worked. All different levels of fitness. Everyone is from different parts of the United States, but everyone just meshed so well. So I look forward to the next one. That was only 30 people, but we have an interest list of 60 and growing to come to the next one. So my goal is to have 100 people at next September in Honolulu. But also we will have another adventure here in Hawaii, the last weekend of April. So if anybody is interested in getting outside of their comfort zone, mark your calendars. Information for that will be coming out soon.
Awesome. So, with all of these, these various events that you're doing, how are you maintaining your overall sort of fitness? What does that look like? Are you working with a coach now? Are you pretty consistent training? Does your training ebb and flow or go in cycles depending if you've got races or events coming up? What does that look like?
Okay, so the
Get
elephant in
settled
the
in. I
room.
want to hear it all.
I am not training right now. So when I do have events on the schedule, depending on what my goals are for that event, I will train. I do not have a coach. I have not had a coach. I have had a lot of mentors that have helped me on my journey. So I do not, give advice on that because I think every individual is different in what they need and also what their goals are. For me, the first thing that I'm trying to accomplish is having fun. Like, I want to have a good time. If I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, I'm going to stop doing it. So, at one point in time, racing, which is like crit racing, which is like high speed bike racing for 1 hour. And that was really fun to me at one point in time. But that is no longer fun to me. For me, I'm more fulfilled with challenging myself, climbing a hill or going on a hike, exploring a new city. These are the type of things that I guess are inspiring me now to get on my bike or to be active. It's more of the exploration for me.
How many bikes do you own?
Ooh. uh Myself, let's see. One, two. I have I have 4 bikes of my own, and my fiancé has 4 bikes as well, so we have 8 bikes between us.
That is not bad. What's cycling when you've got things like ultra endurance cycling, track cycling, gravel, mountain biking, you can need a lot of bikes. Do you name your bikes as well?
I do, I name my bikes. Yes, so my first bike the very first bike I bought is gone. It never had a name, unfortunately. Actually, I think I called her Bertha, but, that one's gone. My next bike, my first real road bike that I bought, I named it Martian Manhunter. 'Cause it was green, and then my aero bike is named Medusa.
Oh, I love that. She was misunderstood, Medusa. Yeah.
Alright, and then, let's see, my other race bike is named Smoke, and then my gravel bike, it has 2 names. I call it 2 things. So it's an Ibis Haka. So I call it Hakaloogie, but that is, an insider from when I had a tour at Ibis, but also its name is Gamora. So
So why did you end up moving to Hawaii? What was the reason behind that?
my fiance, he got a contract out here, and so he moved here in January, and me and my son moved here in June.
Nice. And I mean, how are you finding it over there? Is it just the paradise that everyone thinks it
Oh, it's terrible. Don't come to
is?
Hawaii. No, it's so horrible. It's hot all the time. The sun is shining. The plants are green. No, it's wonderful. Oh my God. It's so beautiful. I still can't even describe it. Like photos don't do it any justice. Like every city or every state, there's sides that may not be as beautiful that, there's really bad homelessness out here. But overall, I mean, it's still a beautiful place and everyone is nice. I don't hear about a lot of crime happening. And the fact that the weather is so good that there can actually be homeless people here.
Mm.
So it's a really beautiful place. I think that everyone, should experience. But also, I know there's a lot of beautiful places in Europe too. So
You did mention the heat, and I know that they had the Ironman World Championships over there, and a lot of or quite a few of the competitors, really did struggle with the heat and heat stroke, and there was quite a few like DNFs. But I suppose for you, cycling in the heat, what are you doing? Is it just electrolytes? Are you just really well heat adapted now, or is there anything that you're doing to manage that?
For me, I think I'm a little bit more adapted to the heat, but yeah, I would say staying hydrated is my main thing. Sunscreen helps with, the sunburn. They say Black people don't sunburn, but since I've been here, I've sunburned twice.
Oh.
But for real, I think it's just, knowing yourself. With the Ironman World Championships, that's a really long race. With the swim, the bike, and the run, that's a long time to be exposed to the heat. So I can understand those DNFs. For us, when we did the Century Ride here in Honolulu, which it's on a different island. We're on Oahu, and the Ironman World Championships was on Hilo, which is the big island. The heat was more than we all anticipated. It was like the temperature's not as hot as, some places, but with the humidity and the sun just beaming on you, it makes it even hotter. And being on a bike all day it's dangerous. It can get dangerous. It's, you want to go fast or get out of the sun as fast as possible.
One of the races that you mentioned earlier was RAM, like the race across America. Did you do that as part of a team? And what was that experience like?
I haven't done that yet. That's still on my bucket list. So far, I've done San Francisco to Los Angeles, and I did a 700-mile ride around Wisconsin with Team 1 Mile last year. And so that is, the RAM is a team event, and you have to you don't have to. They have some people that do it solo, but ideally, I would want to be a part of a team. And there's a lot of logistics that goes into that. And honestly, for most of the things that I have wanted to do, or I find a way and I do it. That one is one of those at this point in my life, I'm not sure if I am going to ever do that.
Do you mind me asking why?
I guess at one point in time, I felt like I was working through a lot, and I felt like these really, really hard challenges were the only way to prove to myself that I could do things and to prove to the world. I don't know who I was trying to prove it to, but now I'm at a place where I know what I'm capable of. Like I know what I've accomplished. I know all the things this body can do. Do I really need to do that particular challenge, or do I want to create something else?
Mm.
So I'm there. Like I would I'm not trying to give my ideas away, but the RAM, it's a race, and I honestly would love to ride bikes across the country with a bunch of badass women.
Yeah.
And maybe it not necessarily being a race. And maybe it not necessarily being only on road bikes. Like I know so many women in so many incredible disciplines. I would love to get a fixie girl, someone who rides mountain bikes, gravel bikes. I would love to get a badass mob of women and ride our bikes across the fucking country.
Yeah. Love that.
So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm at a place where I'm like, I want to create more than I want to be a part of somebody else's thing or
Yeah.
help promote somebody else's thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, do it. Get a group of like badass women together, and it doesn't have to be a competition. It can just be for fun as well. We've talked about like quite a few different disciplines. Do you have a favorite? Can you pick between them?
Yeah, I actually can. I was just thinking about this. Because I've tried like every discipline, and I love road cycling. I like to like do gravel riding as well, and mountain biking is dope. Track cycling is super fun, and I like that for adrenaline. But I really love road cycling. Like, I can't describe exactly what it is, but that's where I feel the most at home. Riding on the roads, even though there's cars and people say it's more dangerous with the cars, I like riding the long roads, climbing the mountains, going down the hills really fast. That's what I love. Those are the things I love about cycling. And the community. It's so easy to find road cycling community anywhere in the world. So
You mentioned that you'd been over to Europe and done some cycling in Europe. Whereabouts did you head? Did you manage to get over to the UK, or were you more sort of like France or Spain?
I was in Germany and I went to France, Belgium, Luxembourg, and to Portugal, and that's it. I didn't get to Spain yet or the UK, but I do want to come.
Amazing. And were you doing cycling competitions, or was that just holiday and exploring?
That was just exploring. For me, most things are just exploring, but I did have a bike and I did explore by bike.
Have you ever done any like bike packing trips?
I have not yet. I have not yet. I've thought about it, and I had the opportunity to this year, and I actually decided not to do it because a lot of things I'm willing to try anything once, and that is the curiosity side of me. And I love to try new things. I love to fail at new things. It's just part of growth. And I figured it was a bike packing trip, and it was on gravel, and I just was like, am I doing this because I really want to do this, or because I'm going to enjoy this, or am I just doing this to mark this off on my bucket list or whatever, to mark this off on my list of things I've done. And so I decided that I don't need to divvy into bike packing. It doesn't really involve the part of cycling that I like. And what I really like, I mean, I like to explore and I like to go fast. You can explore bike packing, but I don't think there's anything about bike packing that's fast.
I was about to say, there's two episodes I need you to listen to on the Tough Girl podcast. One is with Lael, I think her surname.
Wilcox?
Wilcox, yeah, Lael Wilcox.
I love her.
And Jenny Graham as well. So Jenny Graham, she broke the speed record like a couple of years ago, and then Lael, obviously, she broke it I think last year, and next year in 2026, Lael's going after trying to break the men's world records for trying to get around the world in 78 days. So take a listen to those episodes. And I think that that bug, or that will not bug, that will be, you'll start thinking more like, okay, bike packing. Okay, yeah. You can go fast, which I love.
You said you can?
Yeah.
I know. I mean, on a bike, it isn't slow exactly, and I know there's a lot of records to be broken in a lot of different disciplines. And I saw what Lael accomplished, and actually the group I was going to do the bike packing with was her group, Lael Rallies. They were doing a trip in Croatia in August. And so I was also planning my event. So it was kind of like, well, what do I do? No, it was September. That was the thing. It was the same week as my event. So I was trying to figure out how to go to Croatia, do this 600-mile ride, and then get on a plane, get back to Hawaii to host an event. So that would have been a lot. And so I took a step back and I didn't do that. But I might have to. I might have to do it just to experience it while I'm over here talking shit.
I mean, it just reminds me, to be fair, like there's a quote, which I don't really like this quote, but it is relevant, which is like, you can do, the gist of it is like, you can't do everything. And it's just, which really sort of annoys me, because I do want to do everything. And therefore you do have to pick and choose and be selective of, obviously, where you prioritize your time, your energy, your focus. And the fact is, you're bringing, 30 people over to Hawaii to do to race there. I can't even imagine the logistics involved in that, and just making sure everyone has like an amazing time. And Lani, how can people connect with you? How can they follow along? How can they be kept up to date with your own personal adventures and also Triple Crown adventures? Where should they go?
So I'm on Instagram as Lani the Adventurer. Also, we have a page for Triple Crown Adventures on Instagram as well as Adventure Femmes. Also, I'm on Facebook. I would say Instagram is the best way because I have all my links connected to that Instagram website. And yeah, that's the best way to keep track of me right now. And any updates will be added to that platform.
Perfect. I will add the links to your social media to the show notes. But Lani, I'd love for you to have the final words of advice, final words of wisdom for other women out there who want to get into cycling, who want to take it to the next level, who want to take on more adventures, who want to travel more and experience more cultures. Apart from just do it, what words of advice would you like to share?
I would say stay curious. Don't be afraid to fail. I like to say fail big. So I guess the best advice I could give to any girls that are trying to get into any new sport is don't wait. Don't wait for anybody else. Dive in, bump your head, learn, and keep pushing. Keep going. Just keep going. And don't be afraid to make your own way. Don't be afraid to go against the grain and do something that no one else is doing. Do what you feel is right for you, whether it is racing, whether it is building bikes, whether it is traveling around the world or, climbing mountains. Whatever it is that sets your soul on fire, go after it. Fan that flame.
I love that. Whatever it is that sets your soul on fire, absolutely fan that flame. Lani, thank you so much for fanning that flame and for following your passions and your love for cycling, for adventure, for travel and experiencing different cultures. Best of luck with the next Triple Crown adventure, and I can't wait to follow along with your journey.
Thank you. Thank you. It was great talking to you, Sarah. Thank you for having me.
Hey, tribe. How are we all doing? It is the beginning of December 2025. I am in the UK, which is all right. Previous years, I've been in places like Australia or New Zealand, which is obviously a little bit different in temperature. It's certainly getting a lot warmer over in the southern hemisphere, a lot hotter in the UK. It's actually been pretty mild recently with the weather, which is pretty nice. But I just want to do a couple of shout outs. Massive thank you to our newest patron, who is all the way over in New Zealand. So Gina Andrews, thank you so much for signing up as a patron. I really do appreciate you for listening, for supporting, and for signing up as a patron by visiting Patreon, patreon.com/Tough Girl Podcast. But thank you, Gina. And just reminds me of one of the other badass New Zealand women that we spoke to at the end of 2024. So Prue was an amazing woman who I met in a cabin when I was walking the South Island of New Zealand on the Te Araroa Trail. And I remember connecting and chatting, and we ended up getting Prue on the Tough Girl Podcast. Her episode came out on the 31st of December. So she's a triathlete and critical care flight paramedic, sharing her journey as an MS warrior and competing in the Ironman World Championships in Kona, and Kona is in Hawaii. So it's a nice little segue, all these amazing women just around the world. So, like Lani now living in Hawaii, and hopefully after this episode goes live, there'll be more women in Hawaii who will hear about the Tough Girl Podcast and the amazing women sharing their stories and sharing their adventures. So everything that we have talked about on the podcast is available in the show notes, which is on the website, toughgirlchallenges.com. If you haven't had a little root around on the website, why not, when you're having a little potter at home, just go and visit toughgirlchallenges.com, and you can check out the resources page. So if you are interested in thru-hiking, for example, or New Zealand, a couple of countries that I've mentioned, or you're interested in cycling, whether that is doing around the world cycle ride, whether it's doing speed work, whether it's cycling from London to Brighton or cycling from London to Paris in 24 hours or Land's End to John O'Groats. We have spoken to loads of women who have shared their story. A couple of the recent episodes which have gone out, Vidangi Kulkarni, who has been on the podcast a few times. She shares more this time about the around the world again. She talks about records, setbacks, and resilience on two wheels. We spoke with Veronica White, who's a PhD student, who shared more about cycling 2,000 miles across England, exploring the future of farming through women's perspective. We've spoken with Dr. Sarah Ruggins, who's a record-breaking endurance cyclist. She shares more about pushing limits, managing pain, and I love this line, and the power of aggressive patience. Absolutely inspiring. Liz Van Lin, cycling 5,000 miles with MS. She shares more about her story of grit, kindness, and adventure. There's Shannon Hogan. He's an ultra-endurance athlete and author of The Unforgiving Hours, incredible book. She shares more about the grit, the resilience, and perseverance at the heart of endurance sports. So loads of women talking about their passions. And obviously during this episode as well, when we're talking with Lani, we talked about Leah Wilcox and Jenny Graham. So please do go take a listen to those episodes as well. They've got a couple of episodes coming out in December. So obviously every Tuesday. And the next episode is going to be on the 9th of December with Hilary Allen, who is a sky runner, who's going to be sharing more about her comeback to running after dealing with an injury setback. And then we have new episodes coming out on the 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th of December. Thank you so much for listening. All that's left for me to say is, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, give it your all, give it 110%, get after it, go for it, believe in yourself, because I believe in you. Take care, lots of love, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.